Yo, what's up to everybody out there? Welcome to another edition of the Roundtable Talk, and I am your host, C Money. And in today's episode, we are doing history and hotspots in South Florida. We're starting off here at Northeast 38th Street and Biscayne Boulevard, also known as US 1. And right now we're at the corner, and we're going to be talking about two locations. Well, we're talking about one location, but we just happen to do another location. As you can see, the traffic here is ridiculous. This is the entrance to the Interstate 195, which goes west, and it turns into the 112, which is also the Airport Expressway. So this is the entrance to it. It's right across the street, but it's a little bit hard when you got a whole lot of traffic. So for right now, you're looking across the street. If anybody here from South Florida can remember what this building is, it is called the Biscayne Medical Plaza. And as you can see on the building, there is a little police car that sits right there on the side of the building. Now that police car is also historical because that's been there for the longest. And if you know what that police car is, then you know what this building used to be. Exactly. This used to be the police museum. That's right. You know, there is a police museum. It's called the Black Police Precinct and Courthouse Museum. I believe I did an episode of that during my Black History tour. Probably last year or this year, I don't remember. But that is the Black Police Museum, and it's the only one in America. And this one is the police museum. Well, was the police museum. I actually did a field trip here when I was a little kid in elementary school, and they had all such things. They had a jail cell, they had the gas chamber, and all of that things. It taught us about the police law enforcement system and how it was back then. You know, back then it was kind of a torture. You know, they had brutal. You know, you had the electric chair, you had the gas chamber. Now they have lethal injection, which is basically the new form of death penalty. I don't know if they still got any of the like gas chambers or anything like that. I don't know if they got anything of that nature, but we're going to find out. I'm going to try to cross the street before anything. But yeah, this was the police, and the actual police car still sits there. I guess they felt like it was a historical car, so why trying to stop it? Now I don't know when did this actually open up and when did it close. I tried to do research a while back, but it won't give you a lot. It'll just give you a bunch of images and pictures of what it used to be on the outside, because you know everybody know that famous police car that sits there. And a friend of mine was asking me about it. I wonder if it's still there, and I'm like, yeah, I should do a video, and since I'm in the area, why not? So yeah, the actual police car is still on the side of the building. I don't think they're ever going to get rid of that police car because it's historical. It's been there for years. I don't know what this building was after they closed the police museum. I just know now it's a medical building, and I guess it's where people, that's the entrance to 190 Interstate 195. That's going west. The east entrance is on the other side near Biscayne and 36th Street. This is the exit off of here because, you know, this is the exit off of the Interstate 195. If you're going east on this interstate, you're traveling into the northern part of Miami. Not the northern part of Miami Beach, the central part of Miami Beach, because you will just be slightly north of South Beach. And if you're going west here, this is Interstate 195 turns into State Road 112 once you pass Interstate I-95, and it becomes the 112 Expressway, which is also known as the Airport Expressway. But another reason why we are actually over here is because we're gonna check out a cool spot that's back here in the midst of it all. I saw this spot on social media because I follow a lot of social media platforms that talk about, you know, different locations and a lot of things to do and things like that. Not just here in South Florida, but also in other areas as well. But like here in South Florida, there's a bunch of social media platforms where people have things you can do or things you can visit or places you can visit here in South Florida. And I just decided to say, hey, why not visit this spot? Now, this is called, and it is near the waterway, of course, because we are near the water, anything. And this is not a big place, it's small, but it is where people go to. I guess this is for the people in the neighborhood. This is not really for everybody, but this is for like the local people that sits in their neighborhood. Like a lot of these places that sits in these areas, I do episodes about it because it's something interesting about the place, but it's mainly for the locals. And we are at the Jose Milton Park, which in reality I was told it was the Albert Pallet Park. Online it's most people refer to it as the Albert Pallet Park, or Pallet or Pallet, I don't know, but it's called the Jose Milton Park. And one of the things that actually got me with this park is they have a unique art factor. And 3, 2, 1, bam. Well, apparently I guess it's supposed to be the shape of an M standing for Miami, that is made out of giant dominoes. And this is one of the things I wanted to check out here. I wanted to check this out because I'm like, ooh, dominoes. As you see, they can have a playground. That's the only thing they have. They have a playground here. They have these little unique benches. It's not the regular benches. They have unique benches. And this domino is kind of interesting. Now, I'm guessing that those two little circle things in the middle is probably lights that allow it. No? Well, I thought it was lights that allow it to light up at night. This is an open air park, so I'm quite sure you can visit this park at night. I'm quite sure the viewing is breathtaking. And this is the I-195. So from the I-195 coming from the east side going west, you can actually see this from the expressway. And especially if you're getting off the expressway right here, you can actually see it. Now, Milton, Miami. Here is Jose Milton was a charismatic architect, builder, developer, visionary, family man, and philanthropist. He epitomized the American dream, starting with few resources as a Cuban immigrant and seeing his fortunes rise through hard work. Milton was the beloved patriotic of his family and of the South Florida business that he built. Inspired by his family and driven by an inextinguishable energy, Milton made himself in Cuba, and after losing all, remade himself in the United States. In 1972, the Miami Herald story, The Cuban Touch, recognized Milton as a true catalyst in the development of the city of Miami skyline. This park, the surrounding community, and his developments in South Florida remains a testament to the permanence of Milton's vision and the contributions of his extraordinary life. This monument is a tribute to his memory, culture, and ability to live the American dream while keeping true to his Cuban heritage and traditions. Jose Milton, March 19, 1930, July 3rd, 2013. Oh, so he's not that old. He was born in 1930, so he would be in probably his 90s by now when he passed, so that's not bad. So this might be the M for Milton, or it might be the M for Miami. Now, I need to see if they do have a marking on here. I see a can of chips that was right there. I need to see if there's a marking on here that talks about this. It might have been talking about this structure when they said this structure for Milton, but I'm trying to see if there's another like thing. So I'm guessing there's like another one. This is probably what they was talking about on the thing about this structure was dedicated to him. So probably so. So this is the Biscayne Bay, and this is breathtaking. So this monument probably was the Milton, Miami. This probably was what they was talking about when they said this structure was honored for him. So this is Biscayne, Miami. Over there you can see Miami Beach, South Beach, things like that. And you know, the views of Miami, if you've ever been in Miami, visit one of the parks near the waterways and take in and intake the breathtaking. Don't visit Bayside waterways, because all you're going to see is basically the Port of Miami. But take in some of the other parks: Morningside Park, Legion Park, Jose Milton Park. You know, you have a lot of these parks here that is on the shoreline, and you intake it to where it'll give you a breathtaking view of the Miami, the ocean, you know. And a lot of people, they probably don't really realize, you know, a lot of people, there's somebody on the other side, I guess he's fishing, and there's people that like to, you know, there's people. And this park is basically for like the locals that live in the area that want to come out and they walk around and they want to see the skyline and things like that. And you know, you have, I'm guessing this is where you can get your boat and go on the bar, but I doubt you'll want to dock your boat from here. Like, this is the boat dock, but I doubt you'll want to dock it from here, because look at all this from the shoreline, and it's probably gonna be hard for you to actually do that. So nah, I don't think you'll want to dock your boat here. So, and we're gonna take a seat right here, and yeah, this is off of Northeast 38th Street and Biscayne Boulevard. It sits a little bit east of Biscayne Boulevard going down 38th Street, but I think from 38th Street you'll probably have to get 39th Street or so to get to the park, because 38th Street is a one-way street, because you know it is the 38th Street coming in, you're basically going onto the expressway, and the 38th Street going east, the lane going east is you're getting on the expressway. The lane coming west is you're leaving from this area or you're coming off the expressway. So your best bet is probably either 39th Street, which is probably over there, which is the easiest way to get to this park as well. Yeah, but this, I always wanted to visit this park, and I say no better time than to do it, you know, recently, because I always try to check out things that I see from South Florida that is interesting to do. And there's a lot of spots from Broward and Palm Beach County, and still some other spots from Dade County that I haven't visited. And you know, this is one of those things where you've lived here all your life, but you haven't really explored your city. Meaning that you'll go to like the regular places, you'll go to the regular arcade hangout spot, the regular malls, the regular shopping centers, but you know, the regular parks, you know, you don't experience stuff like this that has, you know, great art that's inside of the park. You don't experience places like this that have, you know, things that, you know, are breathtaking and things that are interesting to check out. Because a lot of people, they feel like, oh, I just go to the parks that sits in my area, or I just go down the street to the local mall. You know, instead of going to Dadeland, you got Dadeland Mall, Dolphin Mall, Miami International Mall, Aventura Mall. You know, you have Bayside Marketplace, Brickell City Center. You know, you have all of the, you know, places, Southland Mall, you know, 163rd Street Mall. You have places here that, you know, basically is Miami. You know, a lot of these places been here since the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, you know, some in the 90s, you know, and a lot of these places got renovated. And, you know, you got a lot of these places that, hey, this is Miami, you know, this is what it is. You know, you come out here to the parks and you got some of these art structures here in the park. And even at the train stations, they have art structures at most train stations where artists, you know, show their creations. So every time you jump on and off a train station in your area, you know, you get to intake some of the art from local artists, you know, and things like that. So, you know, you gotta really take that Miami itself. This is like if you're going across from Biscayne because this is on the east side of Biscayne. If you go on the west side of Biscayne, you'll be in the Miami Design District, what is an area that has high-end stores that sell, you know, high-end home decor and furnitures and a lot of things for your house with art and designs and things like that. You know, so you're stepping into an area where, you know, you have a lot of this stuff that really fits you. And you know, now it might be too rich for my blood, because a lot of this stuff is going to cost you $2,000-$3,000, you know, just for one thing. But you know, you never know. You know, you come into places, you find out of, you know, things that are great. That says Miami Bay Waterfront Midtown Residence. So that's a residency there, and it's over here as well too. So yeah, you mean I would never live in this area, because you know, of course, living in this area, you're going to be paying out of your behind. So I just rather not live in this area, because I'd rather keep money within my budget, regardless if I have it or not. Just keep it practical. Because one thing that people don't understand, regardless if you are wealthy, middle class, or you're poor, don't live within your means. Because I see with a lot of these celebrities, they get famous and then they go out there and spend all their money, and then half of them, they go to bankruptcy and they file for bankruptcy, and then they end up, you know, having to live within their means, because when they first make their cool $1 million, they go buy 3 and 4 cars, go buy 3 and 4 houses and things like that. This is Northeast 6th Avenue and Northeast 39th Street. So yeah, to get to this park, use Northeast 39th Street. So let's walk down this trail. You know, this is, well, it's not really a trail, but it's just like an area that, you know, like you want to walk around the park, you know, if you want to exercise and stuff. This is more take my kids to the playground, sit at the playground for a minute, let my kids play while I play on my phone, and intake the nice cool breeze, and intake the lovely view of the ocean of Biscayne Bay and things like that, to where, okay, you know, things, you know, I don't believe you can't have a party here, because there's no picnic tables or no, you know, pavilions or grills here. So I'm quite sure they probably will allow you to probably have grills, but why would you have a grill here when they really don't have picnic tables and things like that? So it's just little seats for people can sit down and intake the ocean views of Biscayne Bay and areas like that. But this is lovely. This is great. I like it. You know, I like this air. You know, this thing. You know, I mainly came because I wanted to see the giant dominoes that was stacked there, and I always want to see. Now you know me. I am a lover of art. You know, I like to go to art galleries and art places, and I'm a lover of art. I'm a lover of things about art. You know, I'm a lover of things about nature. You know, I like nature trails, nature sceneries, nature walks and things like that. So this is great. It rained yesterday, you know, and this taping was supposed to have been done. You know, I didn't think about doing this like episode of this park, but I wanted to do it. And like the last few days, we've been having like not severe weather, but we've been having rainy weather, to where a lot of the stuff that I wanted to do didn't get done. But this is a nice view. If you like nice views, and as you can see in the middle there is a little island there in the middle. Now that is an occurring thing here in South Florida, where you do have islands that sit in the middle of nowhere. Not saying that those are places where people go to, but there are where people might go and they might have an intimate time with their significant other, or they might go there and they be drinking and having fun with their kid, with their friends and stuff like that, where they'll dock their boat somewhere near the area, get out, like they'll dock their boat as close as they can get to the island, and they have to tie it to something so their boat won't, you know, float away. And then they'll go sit on the little mini island, which there's two. There's one right here, as you can see, and then there's one over there. And then you can go and drink, have fun, and probably have an intimate time with your significant other, or if you with your friends, you can have fun, and you know, nobody can bother you. You know, there are water police, but I doubt that they come around this area and be trying to harass people at these things. There is one place that I would never do, that I will mention here. There is a raccoon island here that sits on the northern part of Biscayne Bay, which is, I think it's somewhere near North Miami, and it's an island full of raccoons that people go to. You can look it up on YouTube. There are several videos of it, because I don't have a boat and I don't do boating, and I've been on a boat before, but I don't have a boat to actually say I'm going to go to Raccoon Island, but I know several videos that sits, and then you can Google the actual location. If you have a boat, you can go check it out, where it's an island full of raccoons, and people be going there to feed them. I've seen videos on YouTube where they be feeding the raccoons. I'm like, I'm not feeding the raccoons. The last time a raccoon tried to attack me, and this was at Reynolds Park, and I think I told you this in one of my episodes, a few of my episodes, where I would sit down and I was eating my snacks, and because when I come to these parks, I always have snacks. You see, I have a bottle of water here, and I have a bag of chips in my backpack, just in case I do get a little hydrated, or, even though it's not really hot out here, because the cool breeze, because it rained yesterday, so a lot of the cool breeze is here, and the sun is out, so it's a nice cool breeze, so it's not as bad, But yeah, like I said, and a raccoon came towards me, because a lot of the people, when they see raccoons in the park, they like to feed the raccoons, and the raccoons start thinking now, all the adults are going to start feeding me. Every time they see somebody with food, they're going to come up to them and feed me and stuff like that. So yeah, and stuff like that. But I've seen videos of them at Raccoon Island. You can go check it out. If you've ever been to Raccoon Island, let me know. Hey, I would love to hear the stories about Raccoon Island. It's something that I've never experienced it, and I probably would never experience it, because I don't know nobody that has a boat that can say, hey, let's go to Raccoon Island. And even if they did, I'll tell them I would pass, because I haven't had good experience with raccoons at Raccoon Island. So I've never had a good experience with raccoons. I've always seen raccoons are nice, but when they see that food, baby, they gonna come for you, and they gonna do what they want to do to get that food. So, and I lost a bag of chips because of that, because all my chips that I didn't eat ended up going on the ground, and then they ended up getting the bag, and then the raccoon tried to take my phone, because I left my phone sitting on the picnic table. So but anyway, back to what I was saying. As you can see, it looks kind of cloudy, but it's not cloudy. That's just how it is. Like it's like a little bit of clouds, but it's not gonna rain. If it do, it's probably gonna be a little bit of rain. Miami, and they say this in Florida, South Florida weather. They say it's sunny at 2 o'clock, storming at 2:30, and back sunny and hot as hell at 3 o'clock. And that's just how Miami is. The weather here is just 15 minutes from now, it's going to be pouring down raining, and 15 minutes from that, it's going to be hot and sunny. So, things like that. So let me take a seat right here and just let you take an intake. This is Jose Milton Park, also known as Albert Pollo Park, to some people. And this is the 360 of the park. Now, I actually thought this park was going to be a little bit bigger than this, but apparently it's a small park. It sits right off of the I-195 Expressway in Biscayne Boulevard near Northeast 38th Street. So it's not that big. The most interesting thing about it has the M-shaped dominoes that's shaped like an M. So this is interesting. So okay. So this is basically it. I thank y'all for watching this episode. If you've ever been to this park, comment at the bottom of this page. Email me roundtable305@yahoo.com. If you ever have any interesting parks in South Florida that you think that would be nice for me to visit, and I mean interesting, meaning it has to be a park that has something interesting about it. Like this has a interesting M-shaped dominoes, and things like that. Or you have a park that you feel it's historical of anything, because part of this history, I don't know when this park opened up, but part of the history is basically that police museum that we just mentioned earlier in the show. And that was part of history, because that police museum was back in the 80s and 90s. And I don't remember when my field trip was. Maybe it was in the early 90s, and maybe it was in the late 80s. I don't remember, because I know it was from my field trip from Rainbow Park Elementary School, which I did a video of course. Go back and check out History South Florida. And we did a field trip there, and that was it. So that's part of history, and this might be a part of history too. This park is named after a man who contributed a Cuban man who contributed much of his great work to build this community in this city. Because there's a lot of people that we don't know about, whether it's Black history, American history, Cuban history. It doesn't matter. There's a lot of people that we don't know about, that are people that are part of our history. They only let you know about Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Cesar Chavez, Gandhi, and a lot of the people who was the foreliners, but they never give you the whole, backline of the back people that was there behind closed doors, that was setting up and making these cities and getting this stuff out there. Athlete Range, who was one of the, city commissioners. Up, it's starting to rain. I feel the raindrop, so I'll probably be heading out. But they don't give you the, forefathers of here, to tell you about these people who built these communities. Yes, we know about Martin Luther King, a lot of these people, but who was the people that built this community? Who was the people that built these areas like Jose Milton and Sewell? Remember, I did an episode of Sewell Park and a lot of these other, Athlete Range, and, Carrie P. Meek, and a lot of these people that was here. So this is a lot, to take in. So yeah, comment at the bottom of this page, email me, roundtable305@yahoo.com. Actually, I want to see, this is 1, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, so they're the same on both sides. So is this the same on this side too? Is the same? This is a 3. So I wonder if this is the same. I'm just looking at it to see. I'm about to head out because it's sprinkling a little bit, so that means it's going to rain for a little bit. It's nice and cool weather. This is the Roundtable Talk at Jose Milton Park here in the northeast section of Miami near Biscayne Bay and Interstate 195. As always, stay safe, stay blessed, stay hydrated. I might have to take shelter under this, if I can't make it over there. But I'll see you in the next episode. Take care.